You've lived 60 years. You've seen it all, felt it all, lost and gained it all. And yet, anxiety still whispers to you at night, doesn't it? Your chest tightens, your thoughts race, and you wonder silently, will I ever find real peace? Or is anxiety something I'll carry forever? But there's one Buddhist thought, just one, that cuts through anxiety at any age, even after 60. Nothing is worth holding on to. Now listen closely, because this truth will free you from every hidden worry that's still controlling your heart. Lesson 1. You're not anxious about your age. You're holding on to who you were supposed to be. You always thought that by now, life would feel complete, that by this age you'd have all the answers, that you'd feel proud of the person you've become. But instead, there's this quiet unease, a voice inside that wonders, did I do enough? Did I become who I was supposed to be? You look back and see dreams that never happened, moments you rushed through, versions of yourself you wish you could have been. And that's where the anxiety is born, not from the number of candles on your birthday cake, but from the invisible expectations you've placed on your shoulders for decades. You feel anxious, not because you're old, but because you're still clinging to an image of yourself that doesn't exist anymore, an image of who you thought you'd be. A perfect version, a peaceful version, a version that never made mistakes. But life didn't follow that script, and maybe it never was supposed to. Buddhist wisdom teaches that suffering doesn't come from the moment itself. It comes from the grip, from the tight hold we have on what should have been. And the truth is, you can loosen your grip. You can let go of that pressure. The pressure to be perfect. The pressure to always have it together. The pressure to prove you lived your life right. You didn't mess up your story. You lived it. You survived it. You grew through it, even if no one saw how hard it was. Maybe peace isn't found in becoming who you were supposed to be. Maybe it's found in loving who you actually are. Right now, with all your flaws, with all your history, with all the years that didn't go as planned. Because the moment you stop wishing for a different past is the moment the weight on your chest finally lifts. You didn't fall behind. You're not too late. You're just learning to live without the pressure of becoming someone else. And that's where the peace begins. Lesson 2. The real reason you fear. Aging isn't about getting older. It's about losing control. You say you're afraid of aging, but deep down, it's not about the wrinkles. It's not the gray hair. It's not even the number on the calendar. It's the feeling that you're slowly losing control. When you were younger, you had time. You had plans. You had strength in your body, fire in your dreams, certainty in your next step. But now, life feels less predictable. Your health doesn't listen to you the way it used to. Your memory forgets little things. People around you start to need you less. And the world moves faster than your heart is ready for. You feel like you're no longer driving the car. You're just sitting in the passenger seat, hoping everything doesn't fall apart. And that creates this quiet panic inside you. Not the loud kind, the silent kind that keeps you awake at 3 a.m., wondering how much time you have left to feel in charge again. But here's what Buddhist wisdom gently reminds us. You never really had control. You just had the illusion of it. You see, life has always been unpredictable. It's just that now, you're more aware of it, and maybe that awareness isn't a curse. Maybe it's an invitation to let go, not to give up, but to surrender with strength, to stop trying to control everything and start learning how to trust what you can't see. Because what if the most peaceful stage of life isn't the one where you grip harder, but the one where you finally loosen your hands? Control says, I must shape life. Wisdom says, let life shape me. You don't have to fight the current anymore. You don't have to plan every detail. You don't have to fear the unknown. Because even if you don't control what's next, you still control how gently you walk into it. And there's a power in that. A quiet, unshakable kind of strength that no wrinkle, no number, no change can ever take away from you. So no, you're not falling apart. You're just learning to live without needing to grip so tightly. And in that release, anxiety loses its voice. Lesson 3. You think life is passing you by, but you're actually missing life by holding on too tightly. Sometimes you sit in silence, and it feels like life is slipping through your fingers, like everyone's moving forward, while you're just watching from the sidelines. You scroll through memories, you replay old decisions, you wonder where all the time went, and if maybe you missed your moment, and that creates this ache in your chest. Not because time is cruel, but because you keep gripping the idea that you were supposed to be somewhere else by now. You hold onto the past like a photograph that won't change. You grip onto dreams that never came true, as if your life can't be beautiful unless those specific things happened. And in that tight hold, you don't realize how much of the present you're missing. You miss the morning sunlight that gently touches your skin. You miss the small laugh from a loved one at the dinner table. You miss the quiet strength it took for you just to get through the day. Because when you're clinging so hard to what should have been, you go numb to what already is. But Buddhism teaches something powerful and simple. The tighter you grip, the more life slips. It's not that life is passing you by, it's that you're squeezing it so hard, trying to make it look how you imagined, that you can't feel the softness of what's already in your hands. You see, peace doesn't come from controlling every detail. It comes from showing up, just as you are, in this exact moment. Not with regret, not with resistance, but with presence. Because this moment, right here, is the only place life truly happens. Not yesterday, not some perfect future, but now. And if you can loosen your grip, just a little, you'll start to notice the beauty you've been blind to. You'll feel the laughter, the breath, the stillness. That was always right beside you. You haven't missed your life. You just forgot how to notice it. And the moment you let go of the script is the moment you get to finally start living the scene that's unfolding right in front of you. Lesson 4. You're not alone because people left. You're alone because you haven't let them go. You feel it in the quiet moments, that heaviness, that silence that wraps around your heart when no one's texting back, when no one checks in, when the room feels colder than it used to. You tell yourself it's because people left, because they forgot you, because maybe you don't matter anymore. But what if that's not the full story? What if you're not alone because people walked away? You're alone because you're still clinging to the version of them that no longer exists. You still talk to them in your head, still think about what you should have said, still wait for a message that's never coming. But every time you rehearse that old chapter, you build a wall between yourself and the people who are still here. The loneliness isn't just in the empty space. It's in the refusal to let go of what used to fill it. It's in the way you compare everyone now to someone who's already gone. It's in the way you punish yourself for what you couldn't fix. It's in the way you've frozen time, as if love only existed in that one memory. Buddhism teaches us something quiet, but life-changing. You only suffer when you hold on to what's already gone. Grief is real. Missing someone is real, but holding their ghost tighter than you hold yourself, that's where the pain becomes poison. You can honor the past and still free yourself from being trapped in it, because you deserve a life that moves again. You deserve friendships that don't require you to bleed. You deserve mornings that don't begin with memories of who left. You're not weak for letting go. You're wise for realizing that love isn't always meant to stay in one form forever. And maybe, just maybe, the loneliness you feel isn't because you've lost everything, but because there's space now for something new to arrive. And the moment you unclench your heart, that space becomes sacred again. Lesson 5. You keep searching for peace, but it's impossible to find while holding on to chaos. You say you want peace. You pray for it. You light candles. You go for walks. You take deep breaths and try to quiet the noise in your head. But then the chaos returns. The racing thoughts, the old arguments, the tension in your chest that never really goes away. And you start to wonder, why can't I find peace? What's wrong with me? But maybe it's not about what's wrong. Maybe it's about what you're still holding on to. Because here's the quiet truth. You can't invite peace into a life that's already full of noise. It's like trying to hear a whisper in the middle of a storm. Not because the whisper isn't there, but because your hands are still clenching the chaos like it's all you know. You hold on to every fight you never finished, every apology you never got, every mental list of what went wrong and who to blame for it. But peace doesn't grow in places where the past still screams. Buddhism reminds us, peace is not something you chase. It is something that returns when you stop feeding what disturbs it. You can't ask for stillness while replaying every wound. You can't beg for calm while protecting the very storms that shake you. Sometimes the chaos you're stuck in isn't outside of you, it's inside. It's the clutter of thoughts you refuse to question. It's the drama you secretly keep alive. It's the guilt you won't forgive yourself for. And until you make space, until you empty something, peace will have nowhere to land. This doesn't mean you have to forget everything that hurt you. It just means you stop giving it the front seat of your life. You stop keeping pain alive by retelling it every day. Because peace doesn't beg for your attention. It waits quietly. It stays soft. And the moment you release what no longer belongs, it steps back in like it never left. So if you're searching for peace, ask yourself, what chaos am I still calling home? And the moment you walk away from it, peace will walk back toward you. Lesson 6. Your heart isn't heavy from aging. It's heavy because you won't drop old stories. Your heart feels heavier these days, and it's easy to think, maybe it's just age. Maybe it's the weight of time, the years, the body slowing down. Maybe it's what happens when you've lived through too much. But no, your heart isn't heavy because you're aging. It's heavy because of the stories you're still carrying. Stories you never told out loud. Stories you never fully healed from. Stories you've kept tucked deep inside. Like pages in a book you were too scared to close. You remember every moment you felt small. Every word that cut deeper than it should have. Every time you smiled when you wanted to scream. Every time you let something slide, just to keep the peace. And you think you've moved on. You've lived life, You've done your best. But those stories, the ones you never rewrote, they linger. They whisper in your quiet moments. They show up in your relationships. They echo through your anxiety, your tension, your hesitation to try again. And now your heart carries the weight of years that were never fully grieved. Versions of you that were never truly understood. Buddhist wisdom doesn't tell you to forget. It doesn't tell you to erase your past. It simply says, drop the story, keep the lesson. But the truth is, sometimes we grow attached to our pain. It becomes part of who we think we are, and we fear. If we let go of the story, maybe we won't recognize ourselves without it. But you will, because you were never the pain, you were never the regret. You were never the ending you didn't get to rewrite. You were the soul that survived it. You were the one who kept going, and now it's time to lighten your heart, not by going back to change the story, but by choosing, right now, to stop letting it define you. You're not bound to those old pages. You're free to write something new. Because peace doesn't come from forgetting what happened. It comes from finally being at peace with the fact that it did, and choosing, day by day, not to carry it anymore. You don't need to be the version of yourself that suffered. You've earned the right to be the version that breathes. Lesson 7. Anxiety doesn't signal danger. It signals you're holding on to something your soul has outgrown. There's this tightness in your chest, a sudden rush of unease, a heaviness you can't explain, and your mind starts spinning with thoughts like, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel like this for no reason? Is something bad about to happen? That's what anxiety does. It makes you feel like danger is around the corner, even when nothing is actually wrong, like something invisible is chasing you, and you don't even know what you're running from. But here's what no one tells you. That feeling you keep calling anxiety, it's not always about fear. It's not always about something bad happening. Sometimes, it's your soul trying to speak. And what it's saying is this: you've outgrown something, and you haven't let it go yet. You're still trying to fit into spaces that no longer match your spirit. Still forcing yourself to smile in rooms that drain you. Still clinging to people, patterns, and places you've quietly evolved past. And your soul knows. Your soul always knows. That anxious feeling isn't a warning of incoming danger. It's a sign you're living smaller than you were made for. It's your deeper self knocking from the inside, asking, why are we still here? Why are we still in this job that empties us? Why are we still tied to this identity that doesn't fit anymore? Why are we still pretending this version of life is enough? Buddhism teaches us not to fear discomfort, but to listen to it, because discomfort is a compass. It points to what no longer aligns. It reveals what must be released. You're not meant to stay where your soul has outgrown its room to stretch. You're meant to rise. You're meant to step out of the space that feels safe and into the one that feels true. And yes, it's scary. Yes, you'll want to retreat. Yes, your mind will tell you to stay where it's familiar. But anxiety doesn't come to punish you. It comes to wake you up, to remind you that you're not stuck. You're just overdue for a transformation. So instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Start asking, what am I holding on to that's already expired? Because when you answer that, the anxiety will fade, the fog will lift, and your soul will finally breathe again. Lesson 8. You haven't lost time. You've only lost sight of how beautiful this moment is. You sit with this quiet thought. that too much time has passed, that your best years are gone, that maybe the window to live your real life has already closed. You think about the chances you didn't take, the relationships that faded, the goals that never reached the finish line, and you start to feel like you're too late, like you missed something you can never get back. And that feeling, that sense of lost time, it weighs heavy. It lingers in your heart like a quiet regret, like a whisper that says, if only I had done things differently. But what if I told you, you haven't actually lost anything? What if the only thing you lost was your connection to this moment, the one that's still right here, waiting for you? Because life isn't measured in perfect plans or youthful timelines. It's measured in presence, in awareness, in the depth of how fully you show up right now. Buddhist wisdom reminds us, the past is a dream, the future is a shadow. Only this moment is real. And this moment, this exact breath you're taking, is not gone. It's not too late. It's not behind you. It's yours. The sky still opens. The sun still warms your skin. Your heart still knows how to love. Your soul still longs to grow. And the beauty you think you missed, it's not trapped in your 20s. It's not locked in some memory from decades ago. It's here, in the way your eyes see a little deeper now, in the way your silence feels wiser, in the way your peace isn't loud, but unshakable. You didn't run out of time. You simply forgot that this moment still counts. You forgot that joy can be reborn at any age, that beginnings don't have deadlines, that healing doesn't follow a clock. And the second you stop chasing the past, the second you stop mourning a future that never came, you'll realize something sacred. This moment has been waiting for you to notice it, not with guilt, not with pressure, but with soft eyes and an open heart. So take a breath, feel your feet on the ground, let go of the years you think you lost, and come back to the one thing that was never gone, now, because now is where peace lives. So the next time anxiety whispers your name, just quietly respond. Nothing is worth holding on to. And watch anxiety crumble, no matter how many years you've carried it. Your peace begins now, simply by letting go.